The San Diego County Sheriff's Department has failed to adequately prevent and respond to deaths of people in their custody. That's the assessment tonight, coming from the California State Auditor's office. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. The auditor released the findings of a report investigating 30 of 185 deaths in San Diego's jails since 2006. CBS 8's Jesse Pagan has the report and talked with the auditor and the undersheriff. Jesse?
Yeah, Carlo, Marcella, throughout the 126 pages, the auditor lays out the faults they say contributed to the deaths in jail, starting at intake. With the number of deaths being the second highest in the state, the auditor tells me their recommendations go above the Sheriff's Department to the state legislature.
I think it's pretty significant. San Diego really stands out.
Acting California State Auditor Mike Tilden's audit of deaths in the San Diego County jails shows why.
We looked at 30 of these deaths. We went through case files. We looked at video surveillance, and we found there are some real basic things that are not happening in San Diego.
Starting at intake, the report's main finding at the jails is a, quote, failure to consistently provide adequate medical and mental health care from the moment inmates come in. Some of those inmates die days after from, quote, insufficient safety checks during their stay. From there, Tilden says the rest of the issues come from more of a policy level.
They're not doing a good job of really figuring out what went wrong, what are the lessons learned, and what changes could be made.
The report states the department's process for investigating deaths in custody is, quote, ineffective, structurally problematic, and lacking in transparency. It also calls out the county's Citizens Law Enforcement Review Board, saying it, quote, failed to conduct independent, timely, or thorough investigations.
You know, it's really hard to read, but I understand some of what they've said, and the recommendations are good ones. A lot of them we contributed to with some of our ideas, and we've either already implemented or planning to implement.
Under Sheriff Kelly Martinez, also a candidate for sheriff, says the department opened their doors and processes to fully cooperate. She says better health care is one of the findings she's known they need to improve on.
We have taken a lot of those recommendations to heart. It's my intent, though, to take this seriously, to invest heavily in the jails where we need to make them safer environments for the people in our custody.
Tilden says their recommendations are mostly directed at the state legislature. They want to amend state law to compel the department make changes to its policies surrounding health evaluations, medical and mental health care, and for oversight groups like the Board of State and Community Corrections and CLRB to revise their practices.
I certainly take ownership of the changes that we need to make, and I plan to implement as many of those changes as I can while I'm here.
The North County Equity and Justice Coalition's Saving Lives in Custody campaign says they'll be responding to the audit tomorrow at the Sheriff's Department headquarters. In a statement, the department says they take the audit seriously and are taking action to implement the recommendations, which they say will take, quote, substantial investment in the existing jail system. We've got the full audit report and the Sheriff's Department's response on our website, cbs8.com. Carlo?
Jesse, so much to process here, but the immediate question with this report coming down is where do we go from here? What's next? Is there a process?
Yeah, Carlo, that's exactly it. When I talked to the auditor, they said, you know, they've delivered these recommendations to obviously the Department of Jails, BCSS, also the state legislature. So from there, it really just depends on who takes the onus of making those changes and those recommendations. As you heard from the undersheriff, she says she's planning to do as much as she can, and she says she hopes that the state legislature does include them, the experts on this industry, in the process.
Great job breaking down that audit for us. Jesse Pagan reporting live. Thanks, Jesse.